Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you guys? Hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening to all of you. Are you guys good? How you doing? Just before we begin, as usual, if you could go ahead and type in a chat box if you can hear me okay, if you can see me, if I'm not talking to myself, if I actually have some people who are hearing this right now. Hey Pam, hey Adita, hey Gitana, hey Gintare, hey Stefan. Hope you guys are having fantastic evening. Just make sure that you type in a chat box that you can hear me okay, so that I know that everything is going smoothly, that technology is not letting us down. Hey, 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 Stefan in Sweden. Pam, can you hear me? Terrific, terrific. So I hope you guys have having a fantastic week. And you hope you're ready for this week's training topic, which is how to become an effective communicator. Now, if you have any desires to become super successful in business, then you want it or not, you're going to have to communicate to some people. If you agree, say I. And in communicating with people, you can just do it the way you've always been doing, or you can try and do it more effectively. So today we're going to look at some things that can help you to become a more effective communicator, passing your message and getting your message received by another person, also by influencing people, and also by building relationships and building rapport, right? To where people like you, know you, and trust you, which are the three things that are very, very vital to, building a successful business and recruiting people, etc. Hey Ian, hope you guys are well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of those who just joined. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into it and see what are sort of the things that you have to look out for when you want to make sure that you are an effective communicator. And first, and probably the most important thing of all, is to turn your phone on to silent. Okay, so the first and probably the most important thing is to respect the other person's view of the world or model of the world, right? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, all of us want other people to be like us, right? In an ideal world, you'd like everybody to be like you so that they think in the same way, they agree to the same things, and the world is a wonderful place, right? Where you say a thing and everybody agrees with your thing, etc. Unfortunately, it's not like that. Unfortunately, we have many different people, or actually fortunately, because otherwise the world would be a boring place if everybody were exactly the same, right? So what we want to do and what we need to learn as effective communicators is to respect the other person's view of the world or model of the world. So if you're speaking to your new business partner, or if you're speaking to your prospect and you're talking to aliens, now you might say, "Oh, you're a completely crazy person. There's no such a thing as UFOs. That you cannot be talking to UFOs, etc." Which is one way of responding to it. We're basically saying you are wrong and I am right. Another way, or what an effective communicator would do, they would say, "Well, what are the aliens telling you? I mean, and is it a positive experience? I mean, are you glad that you're talking to aliens, or is it a negative? Are you distressed about the fact that you're talking to aliens?" Right? So, I mean, this is an extreme case, obviously, but you have to take the world, or you have to take the communication from the other person's point of view. So if you're speaking to somebody who have never heard of network marketing before in their life, and you start telling them about the uplines and downlines and commission percentages and free levels deep, etc., it would be very, very difficult, right? Because, I mean, that person have no idea what you're talking about. So what you have to do is you have to put yourself in that person's place and start thinking, okay, so how can I explain this concept that I want to explain to this person in a way that that person would understand? Or maybe you're speaking to somebody who has been working for somebody else for the last 50 years. And now you're trying to explain to them the benefits of owning your own business. And you might be using terms and saying stuff that would make no sense whatsoever to that person, because you're not talking in a way that that person is used to understand. So being able to respect the other person's point of view and the view of the world and the model they understand the world can help you massively. Understanding people from different parts of the world, maybe Eastern Europe, maybe Africa, maybe whatever, another, part of the world. Again, people might be thinking in a different way because they are from a different background, and being able to understand that person's point of view and their model of the world can help you dramatically when you're communicating with people. So that's number one. Number two, resistance, when you're talking to a prospect, or when you're talking to a team member, or when you're talking to a client, the resistance that they give you is basically a sign of lack of rapport, which means you haven't built enough relationship with this person, or you haven't built enough rapport with this person, and that's why they're giving you resistance. That's why they're throwing objections at you. That's why they're not trusting you, and they're not, doing what you want them to be doing, right? So there are no resistant clients. There's only inflexible communicators, which basically means that communicating with somebody effectively, you will use whatever communication you're getting from them, and you're still going to turn it into the way that you want to communicate with that person. So the idea is that whichever way the person is responding is basically caused by you. So if they're responding negatively to you, or if they are whatever, not saying things that you want to say, they are probably just responding to what you are saying. So if you want to change the way they're communicating with you, you need to change the way you're communicating with them, because it's backwards and forwards. So if you're not getting the stuff that you want to get from that person, the chances are you're not sending the right stuff to them. And if you get that, then the resistance in when you're talking to a prospect, or when you're talking to a team member, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're not saying the things that they're supposed to be saying, straight away, instead of going, oh, this person is stupid, or this person is incompetent, or this person is imbecile, you change gears and you think, okay, what am I doing wrong here? What am I saying not accurately or in a wrong way that I'm getting this? Right? Does this, are you with me so far? If this is making sense, feel free to type in the comments that, yeah, it makes sense. So this is really, really important. Also, number three, people are not their behaviors, right? So people are not their behaviors. You need to accept the person and change their behavior. So what we mean by that, if your team member is not doing something that you want them to do, you shouldn't become against that person. You shouldn't start thinking less of that individual as a person, because their behavior is not them. It's just they may not have the right tools or the right skills or the right mindset to do what you would like them to do, right? So it's important person, but go, hey, I love you, Ian, but I hate what you're doing here. Or I love you, but I'm not getting that you're not doing things that you need to be doing in order to achieve success. I trust you as a business partner, but the things you're right now doing is not going to help you to reach the goals. So I want to help you to do the things that you need to be doing, right? If you understand that, then again, your communication becomes much more effective, because you're not beating the person, you're attacking the behavior. You're not attacking the person. So you're saying, hey, John, I know you didn't mean to do that, but by saying that, you made me look bad, or you made me whatever, you pushed me down, you set me down. I know you didn't mean to do that, but that's what happened. So I just want to make sure that the next time, you don't do that. I want to just to let you know how I feel about that. This person now, but I'm attacking their behavior or their action, right? This way, the communication becomes a lot more effective, right? And it will help you a lot more, okay? So that's that. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense. Okay, next, is what you have to understand, that everyone is doing their best they can with the resources they have available. You see, behavior is geared towards adaptation, and present behavior is the best choice available for that person. So every behavior is motivated by positive intent. So what I mean by that, again, is that if the person is not succeeding, or if the person is doing something incorrectly or wrong, it's not because they're a bad person, most likely. It's not because they deliberately trying to fail in business. It's not because they deliberately whatever, but they are just doing the best with the resources they have. So this is extremely important to understand in terms of recruiting and building a team. Because if your team member is not performing, or if they're not doing stuff that you would like them to be doing, the chances are they don't know how. They just simply don't have the resources necessary in order to do that, right? They might not have the skill, or they might not have the right attitude, or they might not have the right work ethic, right? And you might need to help them with that. But the reason they're not doing it, not because they deliberately not doing it, but the chances are they don't have the right skills or the right mentality to do what they need to be doing. So you might need to work with that person to help them to get the right resources so they can do the right action, the right activity. So again, when you understand that, your communication changes. Instead of saying, John, why haven't you done this, that, or the other? You'll say, John, to do that. Or what do you need to be able to do that? Or what could I teach you? Or what could we do together in order to help you to achieve that? You know, that changes that communication completely, because now the person is thinking, all right, this person gets me. They see that I'm struggling. They see, because very often people are too shy to say that, hey, you know, I need help. You know, I'm struggling with that. Or their ego gets in the way, where they think that, oh, you know, I don't want to come across as stupid. I don't want to come across as, you know, incompetent. So they will not ask for help. Business, basically, because they're afraid to ask for help. So when you see somebody not succeeding, hey, Stephanie, you just go, hey, John, you know, I see the right results. How can I help you? You know, how can I help you? Where can I assist you? Where do you think your challenges are? Where are your roadblocks? Can I help you to overcome them? Right? It can completely change the way that you communicate. Okay. The next thing is to understand is that the map is not the territory. The map is not the territory. What do I mean by that? Well, the words that people use, the item that they represent very often. So what I mean by that is you have to dig deeper. When you're talking to people, a lot of people will use the sort of cliche things, right? And they might hide the real problem a little bit deeper in. Or same way, if you're trying to get to a person's most innermost desires and dreams, if you ask somebody, you know, what are your goals? The chances are the first answer they're going to give you is not going to be the real deep desire or goal. What they're going to give you is what we like to call as Miss Universe answer. You know, when every year they have Miss Universe, and somebody wins, right, every year. And the lady who wins, she goes on a stage, and they say, so now that you are Miss Universe, what you going to do? And she says, I want to change the world and make the universe all in harmony and the whales sing together, etc. Right? She gives something that sounds really pretty, but it's completely meaningless, right? Now, if she goes backstage and speaks to her sister, and her sister says, now that you won the Miss Universe, what do you want to do? Every contract, you know, every endorsement, every sponsorship, you know, I'm going to go and do this, that, and the other, make as much money as I can over the next year as I'm the Miss Universe before the next Miss Universe is elected, so I can cream this as much as I can. Well, that might be her real goal, isn't it? But she wouldn't say that on the stage, would she? Because that would be, you know, bad taste. So same way, when you talk to a person, the chances are most often the real answer or the real challenge might be a few layers deep. So you might need to peel this person as an onion until you get to the real issue, to the real problem. You know, so of course, the best thing to do that is questioning people. So when somebody says, you know, oh, I can't do that because of that, anything else that could stop you? Oh, because of that also. Okay, is there anything else that could, and keep digging and digging and digging until the person goes, nah, that's it. And usually the one that they say the last is going to be the real challenge. It's going to be the real problem. Because very often we try to, again, protect our ego or image, and we say things that are not exactly what they are. Okay. The next thing to really understand and to take into account if you want to be effective communicator is that you are in charge of your mind and therefore your results. I am in charge of my mind and therefore my results. So if you are not getting the results that you want to get, is because of you. There's nobody else. You know, if you are, it's because of you. If you're failing, it's because of you. So there's two sides to this thing. Number one is you personally. You have to understand that if I'm not getting the communication that I want, it's probably not the communication I'm sending out. And this is perfectly illustrated by by communication between a husband and a wife or a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Very often they want the other person to change. Likely never going to happen, right? Because all of us want the other person to change, but it's never going to happen. But when you change, all of a sudden other people start changing. How wonderful, isn't it? I remember a story I heard from Zig Ziglar, and he said that a lady came down at the backstage after one of his events, and she came to him in tears saying, I hate my job, I hate, all the people there, it's so horrible, people not appreciating me, they're not paying me enough, blah, 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 blah. She was completely, upset. And Zig Ziglar said, get a piece of paper out and get a pen out. So she gets it out, and he goes, start writing things that you like about your work. And she goes, I just told you I hate my job and I hate the people they accept. He said, yeah, but do they pay you there or do you go there for free, to work for free? And she goes, of course they pay me. So he goes, well, that might be one thing that you like about your job because it pays you. And she goes, okay. She writes it down. And basically he got her to write a long list of all the things that she likes there, right? If she likes the water cooler there, then write, I like the water cooler about my job. So, and every day she had to write over and over and over what she liked about the job. She meets Zig Ziglar months later and she goes, you will not believe how much the people changed at my job and how much the place had. People at her work change, or did she change? And that's why we started seeing people in a different way. Did the work change, or has she changed and everything started changing, right? So in communication, you have to take that first of all for everything, whether I succeed, whether I fail, etc. Because the minute you start blaming somebody else or something else or some circumstances, that minute you lose power. That means you have no longer in charge of your life, of your situation, right? That means that other thing or other person is in charge, and I wouldn't want to go into that situation. Number two to this thing is the way you train your people and the way you explain to your team members. Because you have to explain to a person that it is, I can build this business with you, but I cannot build this business for you. That means at the end, you are responsible for building your own business, right? I really like the post, and I showed it, I think, a couple of times already, where I write on a page, I will help you build your business, right? But it's written, I will help your business. And the comma goes after help. That means I will help, comma, you build your business. You build your business, right? So the idea is that as a sponsor, your job is to mentor and help and support and do everything you can for this person. But at the end of the day, that person's responsibility is to build the business. It's not your responsibility to make them, to earn the money. It's not your responsibility to build a team. It's not your responsibility to take care of all the team. Right? Their team is their responsibility. Their paycheck, their earning is their responsibility. So if they're not doing if they're not getting what they're supposed to be getting, it's their responsibility to change that. If you explain that to a person, it makes their life easier, but more than anything, it makes your life easier, because nobody will come to you and say, oh, you're a bad sponsor because you're not building my business for me. You're a bad sponsor because you're making money for me. Because that's not your job, right? Really important. Now, the next thing, people have all the resources they need to succeed and to achieve their desired outcomes. There's no unresourceful people, only unresourceful states. So what you have to understand that every single person, you including, are beautiful enough, smart enough, good enough, worthy enough, everything enough to get everything that you want in life, or they want to get in life. The only thing, they might be in a state right now where they are not using those resources, right? Where they are not using the passion that they have, where they're not using the love that they have, where they're not using the enthusiasm that they have. They have it inside. Everybody has it inside, right? It's not like a lot of people say, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough contacts. Those things are secondary. Are passion, enthusiasm, resilience, commitment, all these things. And those things, you can't go to a shop and buy some commitment. You can't go to the shop and buy a bag full of enthusiasm, can you? It's already inside of you. You just need to bring it out. And if you're not right now using it, you might be in a state, in an unresourceful state. So you need to change that state, and then you will get the resources that you need. And every single person that you recruit in the business, they have the ability to get what they want to get. And they have the skills and everything to get to those results. But they might not just be using it, right? So sometimes your job as a sponsor, as a leader, might be to bring them out, to help them to get them out. And this way, if you have that type of attitude, then you see every person as wonderful. Every person as full of potential. Every person as the next superstar in your business. And if you do that, then what you're going to do, you're going to inspire that person. Because sometimes we have to believe it for them. Because sometimes a new person joins business and they're not quite sure yet if they're going to succeed. They're not quite believe themselves yet. And if you, as a leader, as a sponsor, as a mentor, believe in that person, believe in themselves, then guess what? They're going to feel that. You're going to send out that energy and those waves onto them, and they're going to go, good. I can succeed. You know, my sponsor believes in me. I believe in me. I'm going to go ahead and crush this thing, right? And if you do that, it changes, again, it changes the communication. Instead of you going, this person, I don't know about them, and this one, I think she's too lazy. If you do that, it's game over from the beginning. Because if you don't believe in that person, there's no chance they can believe in themselves either. You know, one of the things that I found out, which is quite interesting, is that the student or the mentee cannot outperform or cannot achieve something that the mentor doesn't believe they can do. Right? So if you're working with somebody in your team and you want to, if you're trying to help them, but you don't believe they're going to succeed, or you don't believe that it's going to work out, then there's no chance they can achieve it. Because in one way or another, somehow, you know, subconsciously, you're going to send the signal to them that you're not going to achieve, you're going to fail, you're not going to succeed, and you're going to almost sabotage them, right? So you have to become almost, you know, passionate in every single person. You know, in every single person, you need to see them as wonderful, and they will succeed, and they have everything they need to succeed. Now, they can choose not to, right? And that's a different matter. You can't, you know, I always say you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. But you have to have that belief in every single person that they will succeed, you know, that they have everything they need. Okay. Next one, there's only feedback. There's no failure, right? So if you do something and you don't get the right result, no problem. It's just the feedback. It's not failure. You haven't failed anything. You just got feedback to say, hey, don't do it this way, change strategy. You know, so what if you do something, it doesn't work? You do it in a different way. What if you do it in a different way and it doesn't work? You do it in another way. What if you do it in that way and it doesn't work? You do it in another way. How many times will you change strategy? How many different ways will you do it until you get the result? There's no end. There's no stop. It's just feedback, right? I mean, and you must have heard the stories of guys like Colonel Sanders, you know, approaching over 1,000 places before he got the first persons to say yes and buy. You heard about Walt Disney and Oprah Winfrey being told she's no good for television, and she still kept doing until she got it. You heard of Michael Jordan being taken out from the team and told that he can't play basketball, you know, and then becoming a superstar. There's thousands of these stories of people doing it again and again and again and again and again until boom, it becomes successful, right? You know, what's his name, who invented the light bulb, you know, when they questioned him, when they asked him, they said, Edison, when they asked him, they said, you know, you failed 5,000 times, you know, when are you going to stop? And he said, I haven't failed 5,000 times. I just found out 5,000 ways how the light bulb is not going to work. You know, and I'm 5,000 ways closer to the one that's going to work, right? And the reality is that he ended up, you know, after about 10,000 tries of inventing the light bulb, he finally invented it, and it worked, and now every one of us have a electric light bulb in our home, right? Imagine if he gave up and said the electric light bulb is never going to work, right? But the idea is that it's just feedback. So same in communication. If you communicated with somebody and they communicated back to you not in a way that you'd like, maybe they were angry, maybe they were whatever, what you need to take from that is not, oh, I'm a horrible communicator, you know, I'm no good at communicating, I'm not good at recruiting, I'm not good at selling. No. You just need to go, okay, this way of communication doesn't work. How else can I pass my message? How else can I communicate with this person so that I would get the positive response, right? And if you just keep trying, guess what? You're going to get it, right? I like the saying, if you work hard enough, you get lucky. Or they say it takes many nights to become an overnight success, right? So it might take a while, but you will get there, you know. But if you just need to keep changing the gears, and don't get discouraged when you don't get the desired outcome. Don't go, oh my gosh, I failed. No, you haven't failed. You just got feedback, right? And that feedback helps you to course correct and get to the right way of actions, right? The next thing is that it's important to understand that each way that the way that you communicate, it has to help the person to have choices, right? So when you're communicating with the person, the best way to do it is give them choices. Like, give them choices of, you know, do you want to do this way or do you want to do it that way? You know, where the person feels that they're in control of the situation. You know, would you like to get this starter kit or would you like to get this starter kit? You know, would you like to, you know, do work this way or that way? So giving them choices, you know, and everything about communication should give people choices, you know, so this way they don't feel like they're in a corner and they haven't got any choice. They haven't got any, you know, way out, etc. So that's the communication should always be open, have choices, and also it should it should be aimed at wholeness, right? So it should be, you know, everything we do, instead of divide and conquer, it should create wholeness, where the person feels good about the whole thing, right? And when you're talking to somebody, it has to encompass a whole, you know, and one of the things, you know, to put it in a perspective, for example, one of the top leaders in network marketing, he makes millions, etc. And I remember I was watching his training, and he said, I might not be the best trainer, I might not be the best speaker, I might not be the best this and that, but he goes, you know what I am? I'm the best friend. Nobody can out-friend me. I'm like, my team members would tell you, I'm their best friend. You know, and my people would stay in business not because of the money, because of the relationship I have with them. So what I realized there, that it's, again, his communication with his team creates wholeness. So he's not only training his people professionally, you know, about business, etc., but he's also with them on a level of friendship, where they're also very, very good friends. You know, so what I mean by wholeness is that in order to build a really great relationship, it has to encompass all aspects of life, not just, you know, with this person I'm only talking about money, or with this person I'm only talking about this and the other. It should be whole, where, you know, and when you're communicating with people, I think you should, you know, show them all your true color, instead of just showing a little part of you and keeping some stuff back, etc. So because this way it's the easiest way of communicating, and so you don't come across as genuine person who and it's easy, you know, to trust you and to relate to you, etc. So I hope this is all making sense. You know, how did you find this training, guys? Was this useful? If this was useful, feel free to type something in the comments. If you have any questions also, you can feel free and type it in a chat box, and I will go ahead and answer. I'll just give you a few seconds to do that before we wrap it up for today, and go ahead, you know, and attack the rest of our week. We have some very exciting stuff. Black Friday, right, guys? Have you been doing loads of shopping, spending loads of hard-earned cash? Well, it's not hard-earned cash, isn't it, in network marketing? Right? So I've been seeing all the special offers coming already yesterday and today, you know, even though it's not yet Friday, but already Black Friday offers are out there. Fantastic. Pam is saying makes loads of sense. I'm glad about that. Terrific, terrific. I can see Stephanie saying it's true. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great, guys. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks a lot for joining in as always. Feel free to share this webinar, share the registration links with your team members, with your new starters, so they can join in also, get some knowledge, get some skills, get some inspiration, motivation, education, as we always keep changing, and do different topics, etc. Actually, next week I might talk about personality colors, just to build on to the communication and how we can really maximize our communication with different types of people. So different types of individuals and the personalities in order to learn not just how to communicate with people like us, but also communicate with other people who are different from us. But if you just communicate with people that are like you, you're missing out probably on about 75% of population, which is a lot. Great evening. Love you loads, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you at the top.